welcome everybody back to this section. And we've got this presentation from Slovenia, from Klemen Konic, that will talk about digital marketing and the challenge for Wises on this topic. I'll let you start, and thank you for being with us and for accepted to participate to this webinar marathon.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you for having me, letting me have a presentation. Let's just start, so we'll be right on schedule. Just a quick intro to introduce myself. I'm Klemen Konic. I'm a multimedia engineer. I come from Slovenia and I work for a small digital agency. I'm a co-owner of it, and that's a picture of me before the COVID and after the COVID. I lost some hair and gained some weight, but let's start with digital marketing. And here are some information about me if you want to join me on social media. Digital marketing, you obviously know what this is. This is an egg, but maybe you don't know that's the most liked picture on Instagram or on internet today. What this tells me is that nowadays everything is basically possible. In digital world, there is a lot of possibilities, a lot of things that we can do, we can explore, and there is no reason not to succeed. And there is also no reason not to start and get involved in digital activities today. What COVID-19 did, if we look at the different industries and the conversions, we can see a decline and an increase in certain industries. Let's talk about what conversion is. Conversion is usually like a desired action of our customer. Sometimes that's a purchase on web store, sometimes it's a subscription to email, sometimes it can be also, I don't know, that somebody reads the whole article we have posted on our website. That's basically a conversion, what a conversion is. And we can see that it depends from industry to industry what has happened with the COVID-19. There are certain industries that have performed much better, and some like travel or construction that are struggling nowadays. But there are also some exceptions. But let's see some insights about what we can do and what we should do to perform and do our activities better. But the general idea here is that we have seen a lot of digital transformation happening in the couple of months, in the past few months, and we've seen transactions going from offline world to online, and it looks like they're going to stay there because of course some industries, some transactions will move back to offline, to normal conversion rates, let's say, but the online world is going to stay with us because it's something that we've seen that it works in this kind of situations. So what is happening with marketing? Fundamentally, marketing is still the same, but it's just become more complex. Nowadays we talk about, in digital world, we talk about channels, we talk about content, we talk about audience, we talk about timing, we talk about context. So these are all kind of like variables that we need to tweak and have in mind when we do our activities in digital world. So what are our key challenges for digital today? First challenge, be agile. So let's explore new segments, let's explore new markets, find new channels, and try to adapt our offer and marketing to various situations. Here we talk about agile marketing. So if something drastically changes very quickly, we need to have processes, we need to have some certain functions in our company, in our activities that can adapt to the changed situation very quickly. We'll see and talk about this a little bit more later. Second challenge, we're experiencing new customer expectations. So customers are not so easygoing or not so not demanding nowadays than they have been before. They expect that we communicate with them, that they expect that brands will be like human-like, that they will affect their lifestyle. They'll be like, they'll give them some experience with when they are buying from some brand or like changing or communicating with the brand. So we're talking nowadays about experience-centric activity. And the third challenge is digitalization in general. So let's look at about some of modern tools and approach, so you'll be able to decide and perform better in this changed world. The first thing that probably seen this already, if you've been in touch with digital marketing or digital world in general, is the marketing funnel or the user decision journey, different names, but kind of illustrates the user decision journey. So what kind of phases is the user going through before purchasing something or before becoming a loyal advocate for our brand. So if you can just like see it very quickly, it's like awareness, interest, consideration, evaluation, decision, purchase, repeat, loyalty, advocacy. So it's some phases that we can use. For certain phases, we can use specific channels, specific media, specific creative, specific ways of communication to try to move user from one phase to another. Obviously, there is like a funnel. It's a lot of people will be doing awareness phase and not so many a purchase phase, obviously. But you need to know that user not usually very linear, but it helps you plan your activities if you do it like this. And also there are some different media and channels that you can use for specific phases: SEO for awareness, or a website for conversion, duration, or loyalty programs for loyalty. So that's something that can help you plan your user decision journey. And nowadays now is a good time to reevaluate touch points. So where does the customer come in touch with my brand, with my product? How does he browse for what I have to offer? Here are some examples of how you can plan a user decision journey or an experience journey for your company. So you can say, okay, we have a social media, we have marketing automation, and in which different phases what we can do with a third person. And you can also do it like this real Europe experience map, where you can also see for what specific phases for the user, what persona, what kind of user are we engaging with in a specific phase. So that's kind of something that you can look afterwards and get an idea about what you can do to before you start planning your activities, or if you're already doing things in digital, what you could reevaluate now after COVID-19. So first challenge, be agile. How to explore new market segments. Sometimes not that difficult to adapt to new trends or explore new options where we should go, what's trending now. You have various tools that are available. One of free and quite popular is Google Trends, which shows us what people are searching for on Google and the volume of the phrases or keyword. And we can also do comparison for time frame, for specific countries, specific region, see what kind of keywords are related to this search term, and get the general idea what is happening. Here is an example for, let's say, for an electric car, and you can see a decrease obviously in March 2020. That's for the worldwide and for the past 5 years. But that's one tool that you can explore and see if you should like decide, I don't know, whether to invest in something, or is this something that's going to be more popular or trending up, or it's something that's not so trending anymore. The other thing that you can do is called social listening. You can find various tools on whybusiness.eu platform. This is usually done via tools that enable you to search and browse and kind of query the different social networks and get the results back for your specific keywords. For example, I would look for my hometown and I would engage with the posts that are in using hashtag or just the general word of the name of my hometown, and then I will engage as a company or as a person with specific posts or people that are behind those posts. So it can give you a general idea if something is very trending or what kind of topics are interesting for a specific population or specific country. And obviously the most is customer feedback. So ask your customers, see what are they looking into, what they are exploring, if they have any recommendations for you, what are their problems, and you can help them solve them. So some examples, let's say we have seen from the past pandemic, let's say fitness operators have done an amazing job working from home, or like workouts from home. So they've migrated their trainings from offline worlds to online courses via different platforms or straight on video. And then we have, let's say, tour operators that have been put out of work and now they're doing virtual tours to get at least some money in. And let's say rent-a-car companies or rent-a-bike companies that have previously rented bikes for tourists have been then afterwards renting cars or bikes for businesses, let's say. So the general idea here is to disrupt yourself and ask yourself which markets will be fast to return, in which areas will government invest, what is our competition doing, so you can be prepared and like to smell around a bit and see what others are doing and where you can perform better. Here on the right you can see also an example of the Burger King, the Whopper, how they have turned turn the situation in marketing department with nice creative. The second challenge, new customer expectation. As I've said earlier, varies a bit from industry, but usually what to do is have a bigger picture in mind. There are always exceptions. If you can see here the traffic growth or decline due to COVID-19, you can see the same as with the conversions. Some industries have gained tremendous amount of traffic and others have lost it, especially travel. But there are also different segments or niches in the specific industries where you can still get traffic, get search traffic, get visitors, and then obviously convert them to customers. So keep a bigger picture in mind. And what we can do here, people will always seek nowadays safety and reliability. So adapt your process to contactless payments, contactless interaction with the customer. Start selling or doing business online. If it's not always necessary to do a web shop, sometimes you can just do a great website and it will convert your visitors into customers and make your user experience friendly and safe as possible and be trustworthy. As I've mentioned previously, customers are now looking brands to perform as people. They're expecting a relationship with them. So it means a lot to them if you're professional, you respond quickly to their comments, to their support requests. And also one thing to keep in mind, stay in touch across all channels, be informative, and try to provide wholesome information across all the channels. Keep it short, obviously, but it's not better if you communicate that there are going to be, let's say, some delays with the shipping or what you are doing on your property to prevent spread of virus, let's say, and you give them a wholesome information in one place, then not say anything or spread like different bits of information across channels. We are looking for a simpler, easygoing user experience. So that's one way to do it and make the customer happy. And also don't try to sell all the time. As we've seen previously, sometimes our customers, or let's say people in digital, try to sell all the time. They when the customer is in the awareness, in the early stages of the user decision journey, he doesn't want to get bombarded with offers. He is still exploring, browsing, checking different options. In this phase, you need to show that you're a true professional, that your product or your service is the best for them, but not in a way that you sell them, but you show them that you're the best option for him. So, but also don't forget to give your customers some additional value, like free tips and tricks. Show that you're a professional and offer some free advices on your expertise or area. On social media, you can make a sweepstake, give away some gifts. As I've mentioned already, quick replies on their comments, friendly communication, and some support go a long way with customer satisfaction. And also impress them with the best possible user experience throughout all touch points. That means social media, website. We'll see afterwards which different channels and what we can do with specific ones to make this the best experience possible for the user. Also, here is one link about the remote tourism. It's an interesting project. Probably you've seen it. On Faroe Islands have changed their whole marketing approach during the virus into virtual tourism. So they do virtual tours every 2 or 3 days, and you can control a person for 1 minute via your internet browser. So there'd be a guy who's riding a horse or like walking around Faroe Islands or driving a helicopter, and you gain control over his actions for 1 minute. Obviously you can't do something stupid, but it's an interesting idea how you can adapt to the situation. So that's something to keep in mind. So let's be a bit more specific now. How to start with digital? First thing, communication and media. Usually the number one thing that we need to start our activities is the website, which needs to be mobile friendly. It needs to have a friendly user experience, user interface, and also don't forget about GDPR and define conversions. So what are your goals? Is the website supporting your goals? That's something that is very important when you're designing or planning to do a website, is to ask yourself, okay, what do I want the visitor or potential customer to do here? Sometimes it's, I want you to give me your email address. Sometimes it's, I want you to join my Facebook page. Sometimes it's, I want you to buy something from my online store. But you need to ask yourself this question and then also make conversions through various tools. You can monitor the results and perform better. We'll see more about this a bit later. Second thing, social media, very dependent from industry. So Facebook is nowadays, it's not so popular with young people anymore. It's middle ages and older people, let's say. Then Instagram, which is a very visual media. Then we have professional network, LinkedIn with amazing reach. We have Twitter, which is perfect for customer support, let's say Pinterest for DIY jobs and stuff like that. And also various apps for young people like Snapchat, TikTok, and so on. But keep in mind, what are your clients? What is your customer base? And be involved in that social network that reaches your audience, obviously. You can also benefit from other communication channels. Primarily, Google My Business is a necessity. We'll see this in a bit. I encourage you to use email newsletters, maybe some SMS messages or print media. And the fourth thing is mobile apps or connecting with your partners and bigger, larger platforms. Another thing to keep in mind when you're starting with digital is digital advertising. Usually here we talk about two major players who are Google and Facebook. They both offer advertising platforms, advertising solutions. Google focuses more on keywords and YouTube and display advertising, and Facebook is more about demographics and various whole load of formats. Also, LinkedIn is becoming quite important nowadays, and you can also benefit from different partner networks like news websites and stuff like that. But there are many different types and options for campaign. And also, do not forget to keep in mind to start measuring results on your website via analytics or in social media via Hootsuite or Sprout Social, BuzzSumo. There are various platforms. You can also find them on wisebusiness.eu. What you need to do today, if you still haven't, first go and verify your Google My Business page. If you're a company or you do some work and you're located in a specific address, go on this URL and check what's going on with your company and verify it. Then you can update information, post your products, post updates about your business. And it's a very useful tool for informing customers before they reach your website, because this is a tool that works with Google Search and Google Maps. So it gets a lot of views and you also get a lot of insights. You can see things like on which days you have the most calls to your business, or where do people ask for directions to your business. That's something that everybody is using it, especially on mobile phones when you're like browsing for some location, but nobody knows what it's called. So that's something that you really should do today. On Facebook, all business related activities should be done via Business Manager. That's the wrong URL here, but search for Facebook Business Manager, and that's because all the assets for the business can be managed through Business Manager. And when you do it, set up Facebook Pixel and connect it with your website, so you'll be able to monitor what users are doing on your website and also improve the experience and use advertising on Facebook better. Also, it's required to do remarketing properly. Basically, Facebook Pixel is a thing that connects your website with Facebook in terms that it follows the user and his activities. So you'll know if user makes a purchase on your website, it will show on Facebook, and you'll be able to target that user with ads or get them in a specific audience, make a new audience out of that group. So there are a lot of options that you can do, but the first thing that you need is a business manager. Also, if you work with a digital agency, they'll probably ask you, give them access to your business manager and things inside there. If you own an online shop, you will be able soon to connect it with Facebook Shops. That's something new that Facebook has done to help small businesses around the world because of the pandemic that we have been into. Also, don't forget to do Google Tag Manager, which is a very useful tool to define goals and conversions, and Google Analytics to monitor website traffic, so you know who are your visitors, what they are doing on your website, where are they coming from, which websites or which sites are performing better or worse, and you'll get the general idea about what's going on your website. There have also been some COVID-19 adaptations in this media. On the right, you can see what Facebook has done with the posts on Facebook. So you can now mark certain posts as COVID-19 updates, and it will get a bit more rich. On the left, you can see what Google has done also in Google My Business with COVID-19. So they're also adapting. What you also need to do, if you haven't done it already, analyze speed of your website. That's an important factor nowadays for ranking and for conversions and for user experience. So try to make your website work as fast as possible. And also check if it's mobile friendly. That's a huge thing nowadays to give the user the best experience possible on mobile phones. SEO. search engine optimizations. You can do this easily. Let's say it's a difficult area to work in, but you can start fairly easily with providing extra content, writing articles, getting inbound links or outbound links, and using the correct structure, let's say, on your website, because you'll see later it's very trendy nowadays. The voice in Google is becoming more important with the all the home assistants like Alexa and Siri and all the voice search. So Google gets the results for the home assistant will say back to you as a result from a snippet, and the snippet is usually done via the best answer to the specific question. Usually it's a long keyword, tail keyword, or like a phrase that's being asked via voice search. But if you have your website properly structured via Open Graph, for example, chances are that Google will use it as a snippet and answer it via voice search. So it's something to check if you're into this area. And also, don't forget to do digital advertising. As I've said previously, optimize your activities for conversions. For example, clicks on contact information, purchases, and also monitor price of new potential clients. So what's my cost per lead or cost per conversion? So I know which channels are performing better, how much they are costing me, and what I'm getting back for my money. Also, ask yourself which channels are performing best for you and your brand. After you've done all that I've said earlier, you can also think about things like defining personas, markets, channels. What can I do better on specific channel, and test it, reevaluate it. Also establish new connections. You can do certain things and it can be used for different approaches. For example, you can do SEO activities and write articles on your website, but you can also connect those articles with LinkedIn, so you can get extra reach, extra visibility. You can link Instagram and your portfolio. So there are options that you can explore and try to gain visibility, gain reach. Also, find new creative and innovative ways for advertising. As I've mentioned, Facebook has a lot of options to advertise. Also Google, there are a lot of options for advertising, and try to tweak and test each one, and you'll see which one performs best for you. And also remember, your knowledge has a lot of additional value to help your future customer with additional content, with the support, with giving some information away for free. But in long run, you'll be getting good customers, loyal advocates. So also, if you want, you can start selling online. There are many tools available. You can check it on the already mentioned URL. But what's happening if we look in the topic of online sales, Amazon is winning, and not just with online sales. They are disrupting transport, logistics. They are renting servers to a lot of companies. They are the most popular option for home assistants with their Alexa home assistant. They're doing video production, Prime subscriptions, undercutting companies with product prices. So they've been gaining a lot in the past years, and also during this pandemic, they've increased their business hugely. And also other big companies want to play too. There is Google with Google Shopping Merchant Center and their ads. There's Facebook with their shop and their Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp, because that's all their platforms. The general idea here is what we need to take out from all this, that they're fighting to establish a single ecosystem for all the digital activities of a user. We can see this already in China. If you use WeChat in China, you can do a lot more than just communicate with it or send files. You can also purchase tickets, pay bills, get a cab. All these different things that we have in Europe, we have specific apps to do this task. All of this is combined within one app, and it's same is kind of happening with Google and Facebook, because they're all trying to merge everything into their services. What are key challenges in selling online nowadays? The number one thing that's been proven nowadays that selling online is safe. Nobody expected the current situations, but the sales are increasing, and it's smart to look into what we can do today to benefit from this. Tools are already available. It's not that difficult to start, but you need to get your priorities right, because it's a very wide topic, wide area where you can easily get lost. And also investments. It's to really succeed, it takes investments in various forms, not just finances, but it's usually like this, that people have a wrong idea about selling online. It's perceived as something that you do, I don't know, for an hour a day or something like this, but it's usually not so. It's when we're dealing with an successful web shop, they have a lot of work invested in their marketing activities, in their organization, in their processes. So it's not something to be taken lightly, let's say. And there are various options that you can do to start sell. You can choose to start selling online. You can do your own web shop. You can subscribe already to an online solution, or maybe join other platforms for selling online. So you just sell your products via some other platform. You also need to ask yourself, am I going to be making a stock of the product, or something that's very popular nowadays? It's called drop shipping. So it's something that you don't have any stock of products, but you just connect the distributor of the products and the customer who bought through your web shop, so you don't get the product in stock physically. The distributor sends the product directly to customer, something that's quite popular nowadays. It's downside as well. And you can also, for an additional income, you can join like an affiliate program to start selling products through your website, or get some revenue via ads on your website. So something to look into if you're thinking about this. Tools are already there. You can see on the right here are some suggestions from Facebook that they are suggesting you to integrate your web shop with their advertising platform, with their catalog manager. As I've mentioned before, you can build your own web shop, or you can subscribe to some already established platform online. Probably most of you have heard about Shopify, but there are also others. There are some drawbacks with that, mainly when you're renting or subscribing to a platform. There is not much you can do in terms of design. There are like pre-made templates which you can tweak a bit, but you can't usually do something from scratch. When you're trying to do some changes and adaptations or additional functions, you can that have not been planned by the platform owner, you can basically forget about it sometimes. But the plus is it's very easy to start. So you can start basically from today to tomorrow. The starting investment is very, very low, and usually they will do everything possible to make the connectivity with, I don't know, Facebook shops as best as possible. So that those are the plus. But also when you're doing business online, don't forget to keep in mind when you're having a web shop, what will be the payment options? There are various like PayPal, Stripe, credit card transfers. That's something that you need to have answered before starting the development process. Shipping options, so how will you sell your send your products? Also terms of service to follow all the customer rights, returns, refunds, and define the process. GDPR, don't forget about the cookies, the privacy policy and personal data management. Newsletter subscription, which is a must, as I've already mentioned. It's very effective and cheap. So that's something that you need to have in mind, that if you own a website and you're trying to sell stuff, and the customer is a long-time client of yours, the aim is to get a client for a lifetime, then something that you can do very easily is put a subscription form on your website and start building a database which you then afterwards send a newsletter to. Then website statistics. You can also set up an e-commerce module if you have a web shop. Also social media, as we've established earlier, who are we selling to, and also connect to advertising platforms and advertise. How to optimize web store or selling online? we usually talk about conversion rates. That's how many sessions divided by purchases or conversions multiplied by 100. It's a percentage value, and is very dependent on industry. Usually it's around 1 or 5%. So let's say for every 100 customers, you get like 1 to 5 purchases. That's how we can measure it, and it also helps you to calculate return on investment. So we know if we are giving some money in advertising, we can calculate the return on investment with conversion rate. Don't forget to optimize for mobile and tablet version. Usually we experience a bit lower conversion rates on these devices, but they are very important in early stages of user decision journey, because user is browsing a lot via mobile phone, via tablet, and then they'll decide to make a purchase on desktop, let's say. But also to keep in mind, web shops are also increasing offline sales, so in-store purchase, which is very important to keep in mind, that a lot of conversions are happening like that people would browse online, but then when they'll decide that they want to buy something, they'll physically move to a store and buy it. That's happened before COVID, but it's something to keep in mind. And if you want to optimize for this, you can mention before, look into voice search and local SEO. Also, site speed, very important in terms of conversion rates, because there are a lot of studies about how conversion rate drops when user is waiting for websites to load. Also, optimize sales funnel and touch points. So where do our personas or customers search? How, where, when do they get in touch with our brand? Are we user friendly? Can we improve the whole experience? And what do we want our user to do in this context? It's we'll talk about context also in terms when we discuss video, but it's something that's important in advertising and also publishing. What is, because it depends where the user is and what the user is doing and how we can approach them in a certain context. Also, as I've already mentioned, establish a relationship with your customer with extra content, tips and tricks, professional support, and so on. And now sell it. So digital advertising nowadays is essential for success. Do test it with A/B testing. It's something that let's say if you want to look more into it, I think probably the best example in terms of tourism industry is Booking.com. They're performing very, very well and highly above average conversion rates with their A/B testing measures. Choose the channel that perform best for you. On the right, you can see a conversion rate by traffic source. It's an example, but it varies from industry and brand, from brand to brand. Connect with your partners, so it's good for SEO with big brands, with price comparison platforms and stuff like that. Always in SEO, in terms of digital marketing, in terms of SEO, creative and innovative approaches are always the best. It's been proven many times. And if you need funds to start your idea, there are many platforms that you can use nowadays to get your funds. As I've mentioned, testing, there are free tools available also on Wise Business. You can check the two that are quite popular, and I'm very fond of them. They are Yandex Metrica and Hotjar. These are tools that give you a bit more insight about what users are doing on your website. In terms of GDPR, they're a bit tricky, let's say, but you can use it for a specific time amount and then not use it anymore. So you'll get a bit more insight how your website and the whole user interface is performing. These tools will enable you to replay the user session. They will show you how scroll heat maps. They will show you click heat maps. They will show you move heat maps. So you'll see where the user is moving, where they get stuck. If there's some issue on the website, these tools will help you identify them, and you'll be able to optimize your user interface. The last topic that's I need to mention is video, because it's becoming more and more important, especially on social media. When you're doing video nowadays, plan to make different versions. Let's say you make a 16 divided by 9 format for YouTube, for your website, but for social media, make short square versions. So you can make a longer, let's say, promotional video for your company, and then make like smaller square ones for posting on social media or advertising on social media. When you're doing this, you need to keep in mind that the videos should be short, like 15, 20 seconds. Tops if it's not like a big promotional video. Make sure that the plot or a twist is in the start, not the traditional story arc you can see here on the right, but you keep the user hooked to the video in the first few seconds, and make sure it works also without audio. So put some subtitles or some titles on the video, because a lot of videos on social media is replayed without audio, so it needs to function like that. And as I mentioned, there are different types of viewing of the video. Usually during the day, people like to watch shorter versions because they're on the go, on their way to work, or during a break. They're not so immersive when watching. But immersive video usually happens before at night, in the evening, at night, when people have a bit more time, and they also focus on video more. And that's also one of the differences between YouTube and Facebook, which are rivals, let's say, in this area. YouTube is more for immersive video watching, and Facebook is more for video that has a specific time frame that's like fresh and interesting now, but it will not be that interesting after 2 years, let's say. And also it's more for shorter videos. What you need to keep in mind that on social media, or let's say on Facebook, there are different types of videos that perform best. They need to be either emotional, either very funny, either shocking or controversial, or useful in terms of how to do this, or how to do this hack and stuff like that. So keep in mind. And also video is a very important media to advertise, to use in advertising, because on Facebook you can grab the people that have seen the whole video, or like 70%, 75% of the video. You can grab them and then use them for remarketing to advertise them again, and or do like some similar audience from them, because it sometimes it can show you customer affection or like interest in your brand when they are in their short focus span, looking at your video for, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. So just to finish the whole idea, how to move forward, don't forget to use tools provided on wisebusiness.eu platform, and also the good old common sense. For example, how to choose the best photo. With the tools that you've seen today, you can use, I know, Facebook advertising and put 5 photos in a campaign for 20 euros, target the audience that you want, I don't know, some seniors that you're trying to sell some products to, and Facebook will then give you back the results for 20 euros in terms of which photo performed better for this specific audience. And then you can use that photo for your website, for your print media, for your jumbo posters, and so on. Also, some things that we haven't really discussed about because of the short amount of time, but it's something that you should probably look into or not forget, is there are huge investments and movement going in terms of augmented reality and virtual reality. There is a lot of talk about chatbots, specifically in more popular languages like English, Spanish, and so on. Voice search, as I've already mentioned. You can convert your websites to progressive web apps, so it mimics a bit mobile apps. So a website can send you some notification, and it can gather specific data from you, for example, like a location, if you allow it. If you're a media or you are working a lot with content, you need to look into AMP pages. That's super fast mobile pages. And also there's a lot of talk about artificial intelligence and big data. Basically, a lot is going on, so keep this in mind. Also follow topics you're interested in on social media and on focused website, seek innovative approaches, find many of these good examples online. There are many video tutorials. You can enroll in free certification courses in digital marketing or specific certifications by Google or Facebook, let's say. Also be involved in your in communication. Join LinkedIn, connect with experts locally and globally, talk with them. Don't be afraid to ask or seek help. And to finish it off, there are two links from Mobility Report by Google. If you're doing work on global markets, you can see via these tools the reports from Google how the specific market is recovering after the pandemic. And to finish off, we need to work together and communicate with each other, so we don't get in a situation as is seen here with the famous project management illustration. So conclude my presentation. I've also given you some my very popular books that if you want to explore more about these topics, you can check it online. And that's it. If you have any more questions, you can obviously ask me or connect with me via Facebook, LinkedIn, or email. I'll be very happy to help you. Thank you very much.